What up, and welcome to the Hype and Cowl podcast, where we discuss what's been done, what's done right, and what's just hype in comic books and pop culture. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the new Venom trailer, the upcoming Infinity War, Deadpool 2, along with all the reveals and speculations, plus much more. I am your host, the uncanny Ryan Hoffman, and here with me today is none other than the uncrustable Cody Joe Toothman. So without further ado, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Hype and Cowl podcast, where we discuss everything that you want to hear and probably some stuff that you're tired of hearing about. Cody Joe, you know him from such films as Iron Man 2. Cody Joe is actually that little boy in the Iron Man mask. That's confirmed by Kevin Feige himself.
Kevin Feige is actually my dad.
Go ahead, add him. At us, Hype and Cowl, or Hype and Cowl Pod, or maybe it's Hype and Cowl Podcast. So anyway, the new Venom trailer came out. When I see a trailer, I want to know that it's for superhero movies. I don't care if it has a Western motif or if it's a space drama. I mean, you got to show me the one thing that holds all these things together within the same category, the superhero. So show us some fucking Venom. They absolutely did sort of do that in the new one. A little bit of Venom at the very end. It was enough to satisfy. Was this a big old fucking trick to begin with? Man, we only got one scene with Venom. We didn't have the time. What do? We give them a Venomless trailer. So by the time we can produce one scene of Venom, everyone's cool with it.
I was saying, I don't trust Sony. I'm optimistic. Tom Hardy's one of my favorite actors, and I'm sure he will do well. If it's anything like Spider-Man 2, Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Who's to tell, man? Out of 5 Spider-Man movies, they have a few good ones. 6 movies.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Hey, man, Homecoming was good enough.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm fine with...
We also know that essentially Marvel made that movie. I can't think of any Sony movies that I love. I just wrapped up Uncharted. I've been collecting artifacts, swashbuckling about. I'm a Sony fan for sure. Now, the first thing that I noticed was it didn't just say Marvel. It said in association with Marvel. I could be wrong. I've never noticed that in the beginning of any other movies. Back into the Sam Raimi ones. I mean, you see Marvel and you know what that's about. But in association with Marvel makes me feel like this is like their continued shared licensing universe.
Yeah. Or they're just trying to separate themselves from Marvel Studios herself. Just because the common film viewer usually assumes they're all connected.
I don't know if it's better for them to reestablish that they are not Marvel. But yeah, I mean, we are in different times. So like I said, maybe they're actually working with Marvel. Maybe they really want to differentiate themselves from Marvel. But another thing I noticed that's revealed in this trailer is Jenny Slate.
Money, please. Yeah, that's another thing. Symbiote.
She's like, we call them symbiotes. Really, she should be saying, these are symbiotes.
Yeah.
Like symbiotes, that describes an organism. For some reason, they're like, we coined the term symbiote. Bitch, describe to me what they are. Yeah, I would call them that too. That's what they are. Have her character's name written down, Doris Girth or something. I'm probably just going to edit this out. I mean, I can't even read this right. I don't know that bitch's name. Obviously, we have Tom Hardy as the leading character. But did you know that it's also Tom Hardy doing the voice for Venom?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Now, what do you think of Venom's voice?
No, I think that's fine. I think that's great. I mean, like, maybe it's just the trailer itself just making me feel like this. I'm getting, like, Ghost Rider vibes from it. Like, just him being possessed and just running around, and then all of a sudden it just takes over, and then he just kind of just rides along with it. Like, if we're gonna do this, we're only gonna help people.
As I see it, we can do as we like.
Like, I like the personality and him talking to him, like, we and everything like that, but it came across like that. Like,
I mean, just to talk about the positives and the negatives. Venom looked cool. I saw a lot of things on the internet today. People were talking about, man, I love this transformation. I love how they did it right.
Well, see, the Raimi one, he kind of did that, but the teeth, there was never any teeth. Like his symbiote pulling down over his face, and then a smile would come up out of it. Like it never looked like Eddie was getting swallowed.
One thing that I saw today was that people were complaining that it doesn't make sense for the symbiote to produce teeth and a tongue. They wanted to see him grow. They wanted to see him turn black. They wanted to see a Hulk-like transformation.
Yeah, the symbiote itself doesn't have teeth, but Eddie does have teeth. It takes on the characteristics of
For
the
sure.
coat. I'm a bit rusty on Eddie Brock's origin, but was he ever a reporter?
Yeah, he was an investigative journalist, for sure.
Okay.
But what do you think of the treatment that Eddie Brock got? Like, he was kind of weird and wimpy.
Like a spaz or something.
Yeah,
like
spaz.
It seems like he's almost like a conspiracy person.
It's not so much that Eddie Brock was like a jock, but he was more of like a bro. Venom was big because Eddie Brock was big. Even though Eddie Brock doesn't have superpowers, he got his strong on for sure. Yeah, that's enough on Venom for now. So, did you see the new Jurassic World trailer? Do you even give a fuck about that?
I don't give a shit.
I tried. I was like, all right, let's talk about this new genetically modified dinosaur that they have to use as a weapon because that's more efficient than a bomb or a sword or a laser gun. So one thing that's worth talking about Jurassic World and the Jurassic Park mythos, if there's anything, is that, so I started writing down everyone that's in the movie, essentially. Jeff Goldblum, who was the Grandmaster in Thor Ragnarok. He plays, obviously, Dr. Ian Malcolm.
And what was his name in Independence Day? Was that dude's name?
Shit, dick if I know. Anyway, so we have Jeff Goldblum in this movie, who was the Grandmaster in Thor Ragnarok. Chris Pratt, obviously Star-Lord. Bryce Dallas Howard.
Who is the daughter of Ron Howard.
I like that you emphasized that her working name is indeed Bryce Dallas Howard. I intentionally did not put that in there thinking, who gives a fuck? I guess I know better from now on. Gwen Stacy in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man movie. BD Wong was Hugo Strange in Gotham.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has any Marvel connections.
He is from the original Jurassic Park.
He is,
Yes,
he
he
is,
is.
in fact. And then we have Lowry Crothers, the IT guy with the Jurassic Park shirt in the movie and the mustache.
Is it the same actor?
Yeah.
Like the dude from New Girl?
Yeah, he was in Jurassic World.
His name ain't Larry.
What's his name then?
It's like Jake.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
He's the poor man's Oscar Isaac.
Shit. Hold on. I've got this written down somewhere. Dude, these notes are not good. Hold on. Jake Johnson, you motherfucker.
Jake
So to jump back. So I was just so happened to be writing the cast and the characters, and I'm like, they're also in comic book movies, in a lot of the comic book movies that we're talking about today. Mm-hmm. So let's go ahead and use that to jump over to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Wait. Oh, the animated movie?
Yes.
Okay.
So obviously we know that in the trailer it's
Miles
is the prominent character.
Do we know who is voicing him?
Who, Miles?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't have it down here. But what they have released is so Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, directed by Phil Lord and Chris Miller.
Ooh.
Lego guys.
And Last Man on Earth.
Yeah.
Phil Miller.
Peter Parker is played by Jake Johnson from New Girl.
Okay.
That's the connection.
Wait, so okay.
So Jake Johnson, who plays a Mr. Lowry Crothers in Jurassic World, he's also Peter Parker.
Wow.
Yeah, so other than BD Wong, Marvel cast in Jurassic Park.
Yeah, but does that what?
Mm-hmm.
What? Like, are you just saying like it's just these people?
No, I'm saying there's more to it.
But that's a whole different Marvel though. That's Sony.
Not all.
Nah, don't count.
Still,
and it's animated.
Oh my!
The only reason you're making this comparison is because of Chris Pratt.
What made it so interesting to me is because what started have Jurassic World in my notes, and then I took further notes into what was popping off, and I saw that Jake Johnson was Spider-Man. So I went back in time to my notes prior, and I put also Peter Parker in new Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse movie. I mean, even like Gwen Stacy, like that's a stretch. I went for it.
All your topics, like there's a connection. You have your own cinematic universe. When it
I'm telling you,
like,
it's all connected. It doesn't stop there. Wait till I have to go back and forth another 15
Well, what
times.
about BD Wong's role in Law and Order SVU?
What is Dick Wolf's
deal?
place in all this? What is Dick Wolf's relationship with Marvel? Bonk. So anyway, Venom. Tom Holland, is he in the movie? I think yes. So, do you think Tom Holland is in the new Venom movie? If so, you would be right.
If he is, it's definitely post-credits something. Because I heard news today that the Spider-Man sequel is going to be taking place abroad in many different places. As like Peter Parker is going to be like a foreign exchange student in a different country. So maybe on the way to Japan or something, he has to stop in San Francisco and bumps into Mr. Edward Brock Sr.
They team up and tackle a nitty-gritty news story together. Is he a photographer yet?
Peter? No. They haven't even hinted if he's even into taking pictures.
Yeah, what a jerk.
He's too upset.
Let's talk about Infinity War real quick. So, discussing Infinity War, speculations, Soul Stone, it just seems like too much. Like, do we want to go back into Infinity War? Infinity War, there's a Soul Stone. Where is it? I think I know. Do you? I'm not about to tell you. You heard it first here. Mind your own fucking business.
And at this point, I just don't care.
We at least have to touch on it because it's coming out this weekend. My personal theory was the Soul Stone is what is powering those batteries on that one planet in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. You know all the other theories. If you have one of your own, tweet us.
I like the theory that the Soul Stone was somehow used to create the super soldier serum, and that is why Cap is able to hold off Venom.
You are a subscriber of that theory.
The likelihood of that theory is very unlikely.
Yeah. If it was called the Spirit Stone,
yeah,
that would have been Cap shit. Be like, well, that's Cap. So, Hawkeye, where is he? I mean, who the fuck knows at this point? Is it even worth speculating about? I fear for his family, but at the same time, like, who gives a shit? Like, we don't know his family.
The whole universe is at stake here, Clint.
Is he deaf in the movies?
I hope so.
Hey, Hawkeye! Not paying attention. Clint!
Maybe that's why he turned his hearing aid off, and they keep calling him, and the phone's just buzzing, going off, and he's just snapping. Just chilling on the farm.
Yeah, we need more party heroes.
More Chris Evans Human Torch.
I mean, to me, it seems like no one's getting fucked up in the MCU. Let me start that over. So, Avengers 4. The reason everyone is saying that the title has not been released is because it's a spoiler. If you know what Avengers 4 is called, then it spoils Infinity War. What could that title be? What could it be?
I think that makes it obvious.
What could that be? What could that title be?
Disassemble.
So you think like Scarlet Witch is gonna like go nuts at the end of Infinity War?
Something like that, or they're just using the name.
If Avengers 4 is potentially titled Disassembled, then that would lead to the speculation that Scarlet Witch is gonna either go crazy in Infinity War or perhaps like realize her powers and the extent of her power. If that's the case, then at the end maybe she's the one that takes on Thanos.
Yeah.
So, speaking of Avengers, Sir James Cameron, director of Terminator and Aliens and Avatar and such, not a fan of comic book movies. Recently, he actually went on to say, "I'm hoping we'll start getting Avengers fatigue soon. Not that I don't love the movies," which obviously he doesn't. It's just, come on guys, there are more stories to tell in sci-fi besides hyper gonadal males without families doing death-defying feats for 2 hours and wrecking cities in the process. It's like, oi.
Yeah, okay. The man who built his fame off a movie of genocidal cyborgs wiping out humanity, and then getting famous from writing a movie about people dying on a ship and drowning in the middle of the ocean.
Avatar.
Yes, of course. I mean, I understand what he means, being like a filmmaker who tries. I mean, I'm not a filmmaker.
He's just bitter.
But he is bitter because Avatar holds the record for #1 most gross movie of all time. Titanic was #3, and Black Panther just knocked it out. And Avatar is going to be knocked out soon. If Infinity War doesn't do it, something else will soon. And it's the same thing as Steven Spielberg. Steven Spielberg hasn't had anything Steven Spielberg-ish since Jurassic Park. Like, he got famous off Jaws. Then he did E.T. And then a couple other little things. Indiana Jones and stuff also. But that was him and George Lucas. Steven Spielberg said all these Marvel movies are going to go the way of the Western. They're just a fad. They're just here because Hollywood and filmmakers at the moment aren't creative. We can make them all the same. It's essentially every person in a costume is just another cowboy on a horse.
The fact that the quote starts with, "Not that I don't love the movies," then for him to spit off the cuff, hyper gonadal males without families, it doesn't sound like he likes those movies very much. So, speaking of bitter filmmaker, Uwe Boll went on social media to discuss his distaste for the new Rampage movie starring The Rock. He went on to say that, hold on a second, I gotta find what the fuck he said. Uwe Boll, the director of a movie titled Rampage in 2009, Have you heard of this movie, Cody?
No.
He goes to social media. He's saying how the new Rampage property is going to shrink his brand and confuse audiences. He actually even said this is typical popcorn bullshit. All these kind of movies, including Transformers and Avengers, are helping the military-industrial complex in America.
Yeah. I don't know if that guy's aware, but the Rampage movie that just came out is based off the video game that came out years before your shitty movie.
That is a fact.
I've not even seen your movie, but based on your attitude, I can already tell your movie's pretty shitty.
Oh, well, let me tell you about his movie, Rampage, that came out in 2009. You type it in Google, and the first thing that comes up is a frustrated young man dons body armor and executes random strangers. Yeah, that's it.
The word Rampage does suit that situation, I guess.
Yeah, I think he also has one called Postal. I'm not sure if that's a fact or if they're connected. The dude's crazy enough to where he has boxed multiple critics, and he fucks them up. This dude is crazy. This dude also made a Far Cry movie. So I know Far Cry's real hot right now.
Like with dinosaurs in it and everything?
No, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking.
I'm thinking of Turok.
Yeah. So this motherfucker made a Far Cry movie. It was a flop. $30 million to make. It grossed $750,000.
This dude just sounds like his mommy didn't tell him that he was good enough. So now it's either you agree with him or he'll fight you. Essentially,
dude, he will
you don't
fight
like
you.
my movie, we'll fight about it.
Let's see. See if I got anything else before we just start bullshitting. Oh, here's another connection for you, Cody. You skeptic asshole.
Hey.
So the director of Venom, or not the director. Why do I think everyone's the fucking director of this movie? The music was done by Ludwig Göransson.
Ooh, I know that guy. He produces Childish Gambino.
Does he?
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense because he also did the score for
Get Out.
Think Bigger. Think More Money, More Recent, More Black.
Oh, Black Panther. Dude, that's funny, because that dude's Swedish as shit. Blonde hair, blue eyes, and he plays in Childish Gambino's band.
So, speaking of Childish Gambino, aka Donald Glover, Deadpool 2, we get an X-Force reveal. We all know who Terry Crews is.
For those who don't know, if you've ever seen an Old Spice commercial with a huge black man in red shorts, then you've seen Terry Crews.
And those who don't know who Terry Crews is, they're also known as Terry Who's. So he actually is playing the character of Bedlam, not G.W. Bridge, as we all thought. We have Zazie Beetz as Domino, and I'm really hoping that's her real name, or her stage name. I'm glad she thought of it, if it's not her given name. But she's also Van in Atlanta, if you're a fan of the series. And now, the main event, Shatterstar.
A traveling samurai.
I think he's like Longshot's son. He's got some relation to Longshot. I don't know. He might have like slight luck powers.
I thought that's Domino's power.
Well, that's also Longshot's power, just to different degrees.
Is Longshot in it too?
No.
Okay.
But Shatterstar is very Longshotty.
Okay.
And I think he's his son. His brother, his clone.
But Firestar is like from 1,000 years in the future.
So's Longshot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They're both from the Mojoverse.
Oh, yeah.
Not only are they from the future, but also an alternate timeline. From an alternate dimension in a parallel universe.
Yeah.
He's played by Louis Tan. He's done work on Into the Badlands. He was Joe Cheng in Iron Fist. His character in the series was very poorly portrayed, had a shit treatment because in the comics, he's actually possessed by an entity named Chi Lin, and he's the one that like goes after all the Iron Fists and like eats their hearts to gain their powers, so he can like incubate some like ancient dragon egg or some weird shit. Where in the series, he's just trained by Chi Lin. He's the drunken boxer.
Oh, okay.
He's got a drink to suppress his dragon. So there's a little reference to the comic books. Comic book material. Bill Skarsgård I have here as question mark.
Zeitgeist. I heard another theory, but they're literally basing it off just another random character who happens to have a little like mask over his mouth. That's really the only thing they were basing it off of.
The image that you showed me, I mean, it was pretty spot
Yeah.
on. Julian Dennison, he's playing Russell, question mark, Fire Fist, question mark, and another obscure X character I'm not familiar with. And my theory is that Cable's actually trying to save the boy for some reason, and then there's a miscommunication. You know how a comic book team-up begins. Both superheroes have to come to a misunderstanding, fist fight for a little bit.
And then somebody shows up that they both don't like.
They so happen to be the sons of women with the same name. Dude, just my notes are terrible. So Rampage.
Have you heard about this?
New Rampage. Which, yes, Cody, you are correct. For those of you who are not aware of the fact that even though Rampage, the movie, is made by New Line Cinemas, it is based on a property produced by Midway.
Midway, and, also the publishers of games such as
Mortal Kombat, which is now owned by Warner Brothers.
That means we'll eventually have another Mortal Kombat movie on the way, and probably some NBA Jam.
I think what we've established here is that Rampage takes place within the DCEU. So far, it's got a 50% rotten on Rotten Tomatoes, and apparently that's like one of the best video game movie scores of all time.
Yeah, I mean, hell, you can eat half of that tomato. That's pretty good for most video game movies.
Yeah, that's half a good tomato. That's a few BLTs. Yeah. I'd like to beat the motherfucker that uses an entire tomato for a BLT. Yeah. So, $120 million to make. Guess how much this movie made?
Its opening weekend, or its whole...
So far, altogether.
How long has it been out?
I don't know. All I know is what I'm asking.
It's been out for, I think, It's been out for about 2 weeks. So, domestically, 200 million. Globally, 400.
Okay, well, it's actually 300 million.
Domestically?
I don't know. I didn't write that down.
You gotta be specific.
I would assume $200 million is globally.
Okay.
Or domestically. Yeah. Regardless. $120 million to make it, raking in $300 million. Considering that the only other video game movie statistics that I have in my little notes is Far Cry. $30 million to make and made $750,000 movie money. So just to bring it back real quick to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
Why are we still talking about Spider-Verse? Like, there's nothing really to pull out of it.
The villains I have written down as well. Ultimate Green Goblin. It also says KP. Kingpin. And the Prowler.
The Prowler.
I would assume the 1610 Prowler, the Ultimate Universe version. I would assume the majority of this movie takes place in the Ultimate Universe.
So is Peter Parker going to find his way into the Ultimate Universe? Or is Miles...
No, he's coming.
I thought Miles Morales was going to come to the 616.
Well, I mean, that would make sense, and maybe they do that in the movie, but no. Because Peter Parker's got to, like, jump on him. Alright, so to wrap up this podcast, we are fittingly going to talk about post-credit scenes. Post-credits. Captain Marvel, maybe?
Yes.
They said that she wasn't officially in the film, maybe post-credit. Here's the one I'd like to see. Are you ready for it? Venom.
No.
Venom post-credit scene. You bring that motherfucker from space the right way.
It's not gonna happen. This Spider-Man is still involved with the Sony universe. Venom is not involved with the MCU.
Well, there's no reason why they can't.
Like legal reasons and red tape.
Hey, Sony could be like, you put Venom in a fucking post-credit scene, or we're taking back Spider-Man.
I think there definitely will be Captain Marvel. I feel like she's probably going to either be somewhere on Earth and she's for some reason couldn't help. Nick Fury's going to get a hold of her or something. That, or she's out in space or something, and then she's going to show up right after Earth's been like wrecked. Like, I would love to see Galactus if the whole behind the scenes deal with Fox is still going on, or seeing like a planet get destroyed or something, and then you see like Silver Surfer. I'm very into the cosmic side of the MCU. I feel like that has a lot of potential.
I thought about mentioning the Fantastic Four, but at the same time I thought maybe it would have been too rushed, and what's the point of even speculating?
I think in Avengers 4, you're going to go up through the portal right above Stark Tower, go up there, rewrite history, and then they're going to come back, and the Baxter building is going to be right next door to Stark Tower.
That's good. Speaking of which, what about Illuminati post-credit scene?
Okay, so they got Black Panther, they got Iron Man, they got
Doctor Strange.
We got Doctor Strange. The only ones they don't have the rights to is what, Beast, Mr. Fantastic, and Black Bolt.
Well, they do have Black Bolt.
Oh yeah,
they're not letting him in.
No.
They're not going to include Black Bolt, probably for the reasons that series tanked and was terrible. But yeah, they do have Tony Stark. They do have Doctor Strange. They do have Black Panther. That's enough. Maybe the end credit scene is going to be Black Panther, Tony Stark, and Doctor Strange getting together saying, hey, each of us need to protect an Infinity Stone. That's going to conclude the first issue of the Hype and Cal podcast. Sorry that it was a little crazy. It's a little chaotic.
This is how shit works, okay? Watch the first episode of Seinfeld. It's garbage. It's awful.
Should we have a thing we say, maybe? Like a catchphrase?
See, no.
All right, everyone. That'll wrap up this issue of the Hype and Cal podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And that's not good. All right, everyone. All right, everyone, that wraps up our first issue of the Hype and Cal podcast. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope you tune in next time.
Like, somehow say both our names.
All right, everyone, that wraps up the first issue of the Hype and Cal podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I surely appreciate it, as does my co-host, Cody Joe Toothman.
Yes. I want my name to be different in every episode.
So make sure you tune in next time where we discuss the same shit. All right, Bye.